when we start to consciously breathe and essentially bring in way more oxygen into the body, our neuroreceptors in the back of our brain actually start to shut off within a few minutes. It actually doesn't take that long. And so when they shut off, it's shutting off all the noise and all the chaos from our thoughts and our mind. And it's letting us just get into the body and get into higher states of consciousness, which is what happens if you're really, successful when you're meditating, is those, delta, gamma, theta waves where you start to really go, higher in the mind, and you're out of the unconscious and you're out of the noise and the chaos of where we usually are. In breath work, we're able to just do that just by breathing.
This show is all about helping you up-level your life, including your well-being, your relationships, your mental health, your wealth, your confidence, and your joy. I challenge you to keep an open mind as together we discover tips, tools, and advice from the experts to help you live life to your fullest potential. Welcome to the Jenna Banks Show. Okay, Ali, I am so excited to have you on the show today. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm honored to be here.
I love the breathwork exercise. You and I just got a little taste of what you can do, or at least I did, with the breathwork. It was literally just like 30 seconds of deep breathing, and just to give everyone, fill everyone in on what just happened. I was dealing with tech issues, then she was dealing with tech issues, and we couldn't quite get on to even see each other or talk to each other. And she's got kids, her husband's, taking care of the kids while she is filming with me right now. And so it's a lot of juggling, especially with motherhood and work and all of that, right? Just to even be able to record this here. So it was like 25 minutes of that. And we're like, wait, okay, now we need to record. And so it was the perfect opportunity for her to show me a little bit of her breathwork exercises. It was only 30 seconds, but it was a really great technique. So, Ali, I think that's a great way to start. I would love it if you would just tell everyone a little bit about yourself, maybe a little bit about your background, and then what you're doing today.
Sure. Yeah, it's true. We needed that deep breathing, right? And I
Yeah.
think sometimes we forget like that just that simple moment can shift so much. Instead of being in that fight or flight, you can actually get back to that like rest and digest and be ready to go. And so yeah, thank you so much for having me. Hi everyone. I'm Ali Levine. I am a certified breathwork practitioner and coach, intuitive stylist and transformation expert. And if I feel the breath is so powerful because it always brings me home. I always say, come home to yourself. After being a very busy celebrity stylist for many years in the Hollywood industry, and kind of between burnout and becoming a new mom and losing myself, going on quite the spiritual journey, breath work really showed up for me in really profound ways. And it started with actually hating meditation, which I know we're going to get into, and leading me into the breath. But the breath just showed up for me every time, and showed me every time I thought I was about to have a breakdown, I could actually have a breakthrough. But I had to be willing to breathe through. And this is where I feel the breath just shows up so much. And what breath work basically is it's just conscious breathing. Because most of the time, most of us, no judgment, we're shallow breathing. We have a lot going on, like you said, Jenna, with everything happening in our world. And there's just a lot going on, and it's shallow breathing, which in my opinion equals shallow thoughts. Everything is shallow. There's no depth. And so when you can get back into the body and really embody that feeling and do deep breathing through different types of exercises like Jenna and I just did, you will restore your nervous system. And that's where it all begins. Regulating our nervous system, regulating that vagus nerve, allowing yourself to really start to just in the moment. It resets everything. And if you're like me, where I really believe we are energetic beings, truly everything is energy, well, then we're feeling that, we're receiving that. So anything that's chaotic around us is setting us off. It's getting us like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And so, perfect example, right? In that moment where we're having all those audio and tech issues, it could have been like us starting and like, off to the races and all crazy and like, oh my gosh, let's just start recording. But instead it was like, let's anchor in, let's breathe together for a moment, and let's come back to center, and then let's begin. So we can feel fresh, we can feel restored, we can feel renewed. And this is totally possible in every moment. And it doesn't have to be this deep, profound, an hour session. Yes, don't get me wrong. I love those. They're juicy. They're incredible. They're like higher consciousness. I could talk all the things. But what we just did with that 30 seconds was the perfect example of what everyone can do with breath work.
I love that. Yeah, just think about what the quality would have been of our conversation off the bat if we didn't do the breath work. Maybe it would have been a
Yeah.
little more stressed or a little more forced. And so it changes everything. Do you bring breath work into your meditation?
I do a lot actually. I didn't in
Mm,
the beginning. So quick backstory, talking about mindset work, right? So much. We telling our thoughts, really feeling into them, being conscious. So 2020 came, right, for like the rest of us and threw me upside down. I was pregnant with my second daughter, and mindset work and my meditation had stopped working for me. And
mm,
I was in complete panic mode, to say the least. Like that's a nice way to put it. I was a disaster. I was like, how could everything I've been doing that's been working for so long no longer be working? What is happening? Like what am I doing wrong? What has changed? And of course, what had changed was the world was upside down. And
yeah.
I was pregnant with my second daughter. So I think all my fears of birth and everything I had been through with my first daughter were coming up and bubbling up for me to see and reveal themselves. And I was just in a tizzy. I was a mess. And thank God I found the breath, because it showed me the reason mindset work wasn't working for me. And I've seen this with a lot of my clients, is that sometimes we just don't know how to get away from the unconscious thoughts. Sometimes they can overpower in very intense situations or traumatic situations where we know what the right thing to do is, but we just can't get there. And the mind is taking over and spinning us back into
Yeah.
what we did before versus
Hmm.
what we're telling it and feeding it. And so when we're conscious, it's fantastic. But if you can't get to that conscious place and you can't be aware, you're spinning, which I was. And so breath work really showed up for me, because once I started anchoring into my body and just taking deep breaths and doing different types of exercises, which I know we're going to do in a little bit here to show. But when I started doing some exercises and I started noticing, not only was I releasing those unconscious thoughts, but I was able to really start to release emotion that I was maybe holding that I didn't know needed to be released. I was able to actually just get into my body and center myself so much that my thoughts actually shut off, which there's actual science behind this. So when we start to consciously breathe and essentially bring in way more oxygen into the body, our neuroreceptors in the back of our brain actually start to shut off within a few minutes. It actually doesn't take that long. And so when they shut off, it's shutting off all the noise and all the chaos from our thoughts and our mind. And it's letting us just get into the body and get into higher states of consciousness, which is what happens if you're really successful when you're meditating, is those delta gamma theta waves where you
Hmm.
start to really go higher in the mind, and you're out of the unconscious and you're out of the noise and the chaos of where we usually are. In breath work, we're able to just do that just by breathing. So by bringing
Mm,
more oxygen into the body, you shut that off, you stimulate your vagus nerve, you start to regulate your nervous system, and everything starts to calm. And what I always tell my clients is that once that happens, not only are you in such an embodied state where you come home to yourself, but your nervous system doesn't lie. So whatever
mm,
shows up for you in that moment, that is what is true to you, whether it's your emotional, whether you're just tired and maybe you just needed that reset to say, I'm tired. I need to actually just rest and not do anything right now. Or I just needed that moment to pause and allow myself just to be. And I kept doing that for myself every single day when I was pregnant. And I noticed every time I would start to get in this like spin out mode, as soon as I started breathing, anything I needed to see was coming up, whether it was fear and I was releasing it and crying it out and allowing it to go about my daughter's coming birth, whether it was what was going to be, was my husband going to be there? I mean, there were so many different factors right back then, because of the world and where it was. But it just showed up for me over and over again. And instead of me having, like I said, a breakdown, I would have a breakthrough, and then I'd be able to shift. And then going back to your question, Jenna, with meditation, as soon as I started seeing how much that was helping, then I started practicing my meditation again. And all of a sudden, oh, it's
mm.
working again. And it was even more profound, I feel, because I was able to get even more in my body and be able to like feel and hear it into the meditation and be like, oh, this is my peace. Okay, we're back now. We're
Would
here.
would it make sense, for someone new to meditation or someone who's looking for a refresh in their meditation to practice breath work the whole way through? Be
Absolutely. You absolutely can. Yeah, for
Okay,
sure. Yeah,
okay.
you can do, I mean, you could do it, as a beginner. And to be honest, some people, like even my clients have said to me, like they'll do breath work the way through. And then sometimes the meditation falls off. And I'm like, okay, and that's okay. Then that's what was meant. I really believe, our body knows, right? In my
Mhm.
opinion, everything I've studied, the body is the channel, the body is the messenger. So if you trust your body and you let your body guide you, then
Yeah.
you're going to allow whatever needs to fall off or whatever is not sticking to just be, instead of finding an agenda, right? Like I tell my clients when I breathe with them, they're like, okay, what intention should we breathe into today? And I'm like, I like to really show up with no agenda ever. Like I'm happy to bring into the space whatever it is. I'm happy to talk this out with you, but I want you to lead yourself into it because this is about your journey and coming home
So
to
true.
yourself. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to be a safe space, but I'm not here to have an agenda or to change what you're doing. I'm just here to help guide you through.
That's a really good point. We all are on our own journeys, and what each of us needs is very different. You
Yeah.
can show a whole bunch of modalities, but what's going to resonate for one person might not for the other, and that's
Yeah.
good. Like we are
Right.
all unique individuals. We have different needs. So I love that you mentioned that. Like you've got to figure out what's best for you. Try these different things and see what works. So can you walk us through? And I don't know if this would be a good time to do the mini exercise,
Yeah.
but I think it'd be really cool to see what this looks like. Like, what does this mean,
Absolutely.
breath work? Is it deep breathing? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, no, I love this question. We totally can. Absolutely. Yeah. So
Okay.
I'll first just say if you're driving or doing anything with, heavy machine or anything, do not do this. Come back and do it another time.
Definitely don't do this if you're driving. Yes,
Yeah,
please.
you'd be surprised. I say that because a lot of people actually do because they're stressed out driving, right? Unfortunately, they're like people get road rage. There's a lot going on when you're driving, and people will say to me like, "Oh, I'll start doing it in the car," and I'm like, "Oh, no, 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 don't!" Because you're bringing in so much oxygen into the body. You don't
Yeah.
know, like, not that you're. I don't want to say like you're not able to have your senses because you are, but when you are breathing deeply and consciously, it can essentially, because it's supposed to, relax the body. So you may not
Yeah.
respond as quickly as you're supposed to, or whatever it may be, God forbid, when you're driving. So that's why I say that. I told my client the other day, I'm like, do me a favor, pull off, breathe before you start to drive. And then when you get home, breathe again, and so she's
Yeah.
like, okay, I'll do that. So I just
That's a good
I
point.
never I never even thought that was a thing until that happened. So I'm like, now I have to say it.
Well, it brings up a good point. So, what we're doing by the breath work is bringing more oxygen to the
Yes.
brain.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Bringing more oxygen to the brain, bringing more oxygen to the body fully, and essentially allowing our nervous system to go from a sympathetic nervous system, which is that fight or flight that most of us are in most of the time, just because that's life, right? And go from fight or flight to actual parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest, homeostasis of where the body really, essentially, when we're born, what we come into, how we are breathing. If you look at a baby, and see how they're deep breathing and the way they're breathing. It's the way we're supposed to technically breathe all the
Mm.
time, but we don't because, no judgment, myself as well. We got a lot going on in our
Yeah.
lives. And so being able to be anchored in and come back to that is going to then allow us to flow between both states. Because you don't want to
Okay.
get stuck in one or the other, right? You really don't want to be in deep rest 24/7 either, because then you'll never get anything done. But
Yeah.
finding that harmony and being able to shift between the two. So that's what we're going to do right now is we're going to move
And
ourselves.
real quick, just before we get into it, just so
Yeah.
anyone going, okay, nervous system, I've never heard that before. If you
Oh,
could just
sure.
give us a quick tutorial on what that is. So like imagine we're a computer or, I don't know if it'd help to visualize the brain and the frontal cortex and all the different parts, but is there a simple way to understand what the nervous system is in our
Yeah,
body?
so yeah, I guess I think about it. I guess, yeah, I guess as it's a good question. Think about it, I guess, yeah, as a computer, it's like it stores everything, right? So like we think the brain is holding everything, but really it's just kind of like it's just our thoughts, really, and so many of our thoughts are not even ours, which is a whole nother conversation. But the brain like holds our thoughts, but the nervous system essentially is like this computer that holds everything. It's like every experience, every
Mm.
trauma, everything we've been through is holding there. it's like essentially in this like vault for you. And until you actually allow it to, be released, it's all holding there, which is why one of my favorite books I've ever read was The Body Keeps Score, because
Oh,
it
I've
talks
heard of
all
that.
about that.
Yeah.
Such a good book. If anyone wants to kind of like dive into the body and understand it more in the energetics of kind of how we work and function, it's like everything comes up for us because it's all held in our nervous system in the body. So it essentially manifests in one way or
Mhm.
another. And a lot of
The
times
Body
people,
Keeps the Score. That's the
yeah,
book. The
the
Body
body
Keeps the
keeps the
Score.
score. You'll
Definitely
find it
check it out.
everywhere. Yeah.
I've seen it on Amazon. It's got like a gazillion 5-star
Yes,
reviews. And I
it's
was like,
so
I
good.
need to read that one
It
day. Yes.
opened my mind, my eyes, of everything, like so much so when I was going through my journey. I was reading it during my postpartum depression because it was,
Okay.
recommended to me. And I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. Like things are shifting and this is why the body is now showing up for me now. And so, yeah,
Uh,
definitely good read. Go back to that.
okay. So thank you for going down that path with us, just so we understand what we're doing, right?
Yeah,
Like, what
of
is this
course.
breath work actually doing in our body and why?
Yeah.
And why is it releasing certain things? Why is it calming us? What does it mean, fight or
Yeah,
flight versus,
for sure.
was it
No.
parasympathetic?
Yeah, parasympathetic. Yeah, no, great
Yeah.
question. So the
Yeah.
fight or flight, which is essentially, our sympathetic nervous system, it means that essentially we're in some type of reactionary state, whether we realize it or not. And that's usually where most of us are, just because you wake up in the morning, right? Most people, I did for many years until I changed and became conscious of what I was doing. I look at my phone the first thing when I wake up in the morning, right? And so what does that do to you? You immediately are turned on.
And you're being reactive. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, what's
Yeah.
happening? This person
Mhm.
needs me. This email is happening. This is happening. This, all these things. And so you're immediately in fight or flight. You're in that sympathetic system. You were sleeping and you woke up most likely in a rest and digest state. You were in the parasympathetic nervous system. And then you shifted very quickly into
Why
fight
do
or
we do
flight,
that to ourselves?
right?
Like,
Trust me.
why? I do it too.
Raising my hands. Like that was one of
Yeah.
my biggest conscious moments, Jenna. Can I tell you, was like not looking at my phone the first like minute I woke up in the morning, and like going and like, just getting dressed and washing my face, or, checking on my kids, or like doing something else before coming to my phone has changed so much for me, because it's like that is such a trigger. There is so much going on. That's a whole information center in itself, right? So it's like
Yeah.
you're waking up and you're starting with that in your face, and it's going to make you like, whoa, what is happening? Most people
So
are not peaceful when they look at their phone.
so a better way to wake up is what? Meditation, because this is what I've
Yes.
just started doing
Yeah,
recently
I love
is
this. I love you're on this journey.
yeah,
Yeah. So,
I actually,
um,
it probably triggered the first time we talked. I was like, you were telling we got deep into the meditation conversation, and I was
yeah,
like, man, I need to incorporate. I'm just going to start trying this. And what, first thing in the morning or right before you go to bed is the best time because of that whole brain thing and
Mhm. Yeah, the way we
being an
shift in our
alpha.
body. Yeah,
Yes.
the way the brain wakes up, the way when essentially we're getting ready for bed. Like during the day is great, right? But that's kind of like a middle of the road sort of thing. It's like, can you either start that way or end your day? For me, it's both. I really
Mm.
found that like starting in the morning and then going to bed, that is what will help set me up for success the next day and allow me to
Mm.
move through and be more and more conscious of what is happening, right? And
All
that's what
right.
I think is a big
I
shift. So,
I love it. Okay, so that advice right there helped me. I am
oh,
trying it.
good.
I'm doing it, and I love it. And it's one of those things like journaling. Once you start, you're like,
Yes.
this is great. I don't
Journaling is
think
another great one, and another example of meditation, right? You're just journaling out your
Mhm.
thoughts, you're journaling out how you're feeling, journaling out maybe gratitude, whatever it may be that needs to just come out of us and be there written on paper, right?
And if
So
you do
all
it
of those
first thing
things.
in the morning, it
Yes,
really starts your day off right. It
yes,
grounds you,
it
connects you to
does.
yourself.
Yes,
You're not in the fight or flight mode. You're more happy, joyous,
right.
positive,
The
optimistic.
dopamine's going, you're feeling
Yeah.
good, like the body feels good, it's all being received, the mind knows you're feeling good. So yeah, exactly. So I like to start with meditation. Sometimes I also listen to sound and different frequencies, because that's been like my jam the last few years too.
Nice, nice.
I can share that with you as well. There's an app actually I really like called Soak, and they have all different really cool frequencies for like every type of modality, and it's all been essentially like formulated for you to listen. I can send it to you too, Jenna, and I can actually
Thank you.
give
I'm
you a
literally writing it
code
down.
for your yeah, it's called Soak. I can probably get you a code for everything too.
Oh,
But I've
you're the
been using
best.
it for
Thank you, Ali.
years and I love it. And it's awesome. And so I'll also do that. And then another
Okay.
thing I do too, when we were speaking about, our vagus nerve and how
Yeah.
that essentially is attached with the nervous system and helps you regulate.
Mm.
I like to wake up my body. So this is actually new in the last 6 months, but it's been helping me, and I've been noticing I like it, so I'll share it. When I wake up in the morning, I'll just kind of say like, good morning, body. Like, I'm grateful for you and I'm grateful for waking up today. And then I'll rub on my arms, I'll rub my legs, I'll rub my feet, and I'll just kind of like give that like warmth, like that happiness. And sometimes I'll even say like, wake up arms, wake up legs. And it sounds kind of funny, but I feel like it came from like,
This is so awesome. I love that you're mentioning this because this is, I've been writing about this, researching this, talking about
yes,
this,
yes,
just sending love,
yes,
energy
yes.
to our body. That is power.
It
Love
is.
is the greatest power there is in the universe. Why not shower some love on yourself
Thank
in the
you.
morning?
Yes, love is the highest frequency there is, like
Yeah.
truly, like the highest. And I love that you said that, and it's so true. And I feel like it came from my kids because I started doing it with my almost 3-year-old Arlie. Like she's like
Oh,
just she's so funny, and she just loves to like love on herself and like takes lotion and rubs it on. So I'm like, okay, love your legs, put on your, So I just started like thinking about myself, and I'm like, oh, so even when I take a bath, and when I get out of the bath now, like I'll put like a nice oil on and I'll say like, I love my body. And I'll be like, I'm so grateful for this time. I'm so grateful I got to meditate in the bath. Thank you, body, for carrying me. And I just like, and I think for me, especially because of my journey with my body and all that's gone on from the beginning for me, it's really helped me to further bring in that love that you spoke to and like anchor in and have that gratitude and like show up in that way. And I feel like honestly, my body's hearing it because I'm like just noticing how much better I feel in my vessel and my body. So yeah, try it. See if it resonates
girl,
with you.
whatever you're doing is working because all we see is a beautiful, bright, glowing
Oh, thank
person.
you. That was
So
so sweet.
happy, joyous. So whatever you're having, I'll have some of that.
All right, so let's breathe because that's
Okay,
that's the
let's do
biggest
it.
part
Let's do
that
it.
got me to all this with the breath work. So
My bad.
let's
I
do it.
asked too many questions. All right, let's
No,
go.
you're good. I love it. I love it. Okay, so if you are in a safe space, whether you're sitting or laying down, you can do this either way. Just go ahead and get yourself grounded in your space. Roll your shoulders back, just kind of like, let go of the day. I tell people like stretch out however you need to. Just wake up the body, but also like let it all fall off at the same time. Head rolls, neck rolls, whatever you need. Yeah. Doesn't that feel good?
It feels
Yeah.
great.
Yes. Okay. We all need that.
I realize
Right.
I'm carrying a little tension in my neck when,
Yeah. Stress always, right?
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
It's easy to ignore. But again, the body's the messenger. So the body's going to tell you.
True.
Mhm.
Mm.
Okay. All right. So we're just going to take a natural deep breath in and release. Yeah. Sigh it
We
out.
close our eyes. I'm
You
closing.
absolutely can close your eyes. Yes, please feel free to close your eyes and anchor in and just be here. I'm just going to like set a little intention of just allowing us to receive just by listening, suspending all doubt, just allowing you to receive this in this moment and be curious of what this is like in the body. What we're going to do is known as the halo active breath, which is just in your nose and out your mouth like an O. Yes. So let's begin in the nose, out the mouth, in the nose, out the mouth. Beautiful. In the nose, out the mouth. And just continue that. And as you feel that, you should feel the snap into your belly all the way up to your chest and then release. And as you're breathing, just really feeling into what I said of I'm receiving, so therefore I'm believing. I'm allowing the body to show up for me in this moment as I breathe. Beautiful. Just continuing in the nose, out the mouth. We'll do a couple more in the nose, out the mouth. And on this last one, I want you to breathe in the nose, hold at the top for as long as you can, for as long as it feels good to you. Just hold here, be here. And when you're ready, just let it all go. Hands over your heart if that feels good. Just thanking you for breathing, thanking you for showing up for yourself, for loving on yourself, and receiving all you need to receive. And so it is.
Wow, I do feel my brain just feels more bright,
Mhm,
alive.
mhm,
All whatever I was thinking about before is gone. It's a blank
mhm.
slate.
That's right.
Things feel more alive,
Mhm.
more vibrant.
Potent.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
potent.
Yeah.
I mean, there was nothing going on in my mind during that time, right? Because all you can do is really
All you
focus
can
on
do is breathe.
breathing.
And the
Yeah.
more you anchor in, right? I love that you experienced that. And we only did, right? Only a couple minutes. So
Yeah.
imagine if you allowed yourself to just do even 5 minutes and then
Mhm.
progress to maybe 10, you will be blown away by how quickly you shift, not only just in that relaxed feeling, but like what you just said, that blank slate, the thoughts. I think that was my biggest aha moment. And also, like, thank you, God, universe, for seriously showing up for me this way because my thoughts stopped. And I needed
Mhm.
them to stop in that moment where I was really struggling and I was really having a hard time. Since meditation wasn't getting me there, I recognized that the breath brought me there. And not only did it bring me there, but then it allowed me to continue to be there and rebuild and restore and renew and say, like you just said, oh, there's brightness. Oh, there's openness. Oh, there's no thoughts. Oh, I actually now can start with new thoughts. Everything I was thinking is gone. What was bothering me? It's gone. Like, and the body released that for you. And like, what a blessing,
Yeah,
right?
it's so beautiful. That's so beautiful that you discovered this and that you're now sharing it with the world.
How could you not? Like, it's like everyone's like, "Oh, how come not styling?" And I'm like, "No, no, I'm still styling." But like to me, right? I got into the styling world, into the work of fashion because I love how it transforms people, and I still love that work, and it still does. But this to me is a soul transformation. This is like next level. Like you get to come home to yourself, and how good I feel now, and what I've shifted, and where I'm still in my ever evolving journey. I'm like, how could I not share this with the world? How can I
Mm.
not get certified in this work? How can I not get deeper and get juicier in this to further understand this, to bring this to so many people? Because this is literally within us. Like we are such powerful beings. Like we were created this way. It's just breathing. It's just getting conscious and being able to be guided into that and what that looks like. So yeah, it just lights me up.
I love that so much. So, aren't you up to something related to this? Like what else beyond
Yeah.
working with your individual stylist clients? What are you doing?
Yeah. So, okay. Thank you. So I am doing full breathwork sessions in person and online with everyone who
Okay.
wants to receive. I'm doing group meditations actually
Mm.
every full moon. So actually another one coming up for this March 8th. I don't know when this comes out, but every full moon, every month, whenever you have a full moon, I'm doing really fun breathwork and meditation circles to help you really like anchor into that energy and move you forward. Breathwork sessions online as well, in-person events, different retreats. And then my most exciting venture yet that I recently released is my app. It is called,
Yay!
yes, thank you so much. It is called Breathe and Be. Just breathe and then the ampersand sign and be, because it's
Okay.
all about being in your being. That's all we're doing is just allowing you to come home to yourself. And what I say is come back to your best self, which is breathe, embody, surrender, and transform. When we can breathe and truly be in that embodiment, allow our body to show up and be the channel, surrender to what is happening, we can transform in any given moment and it can change like that. But we have to be willing to take that first step to go there. And so this app is such a I like I'm so beyond excited for people to experience this because it is breath work, all different types of exercises to lead you through audio and visual. There are breathwork challenges. There's communities. So you can show up kind of like how Facebook, but it has its own community where you can, talk with everyone and talk about your experiences. I can get in there with you and share. There's breathwork coaching. There's actual also meditations with breathwork I've created. There's affirmations. There's so much good stuff that you can dive into, whether this is new on your journey or you've already been there. It's amazing. I'm so excited. It's on Apple Store and Google Play. Breathe and Be. And truly, if you felt a shift when you breathe, or this has kind of just gotten you curious or gotten your interest, please go download it and check it out. You will not be disappointed. I know you will take away something that will change who you are and your being.
I'm absolutely downloading it and I'm so excited for you.
Thank
What a
you.
great adventure. And my God, you are a rock star. You're on fire. I love your
Thank
energy.
you.
I love that you're up to, but ultimately that you're filling your purpose. You're fulfilling your purpose, styling and breath work. Like who knew? But what a great
Right? Who
combination.
knew? Literally, not me. Definitely not me.
But you're also you're a rock star. You developed an app. That is so
Thank
cool.
you.
I love seeing women do incredible stuff like that. We need more of that. We need more women putting apps out and, just
We're
being
meant to serve,
entrepreneurs
right?
and
We're meant to,
yeah.
I think it's like when you have that shift, like you said, and you're in purpose and you have that shift, and it's like, I'm not just creating to create, but I'm actually creating to serve. It's going to have so much more of an impact. And then that's where I'm just so excited because I know this is going to help so many people. And that was part of why I wanted to create it, because I'm like, okay, I can breathe all different people in person and online, but like how many people can I actually access at a time, be able to help them? Like this now lets them access me and they can take their own journeys. And then if they want to go deeper, then they can work with me one-on-one. So
And
I'm
you
just,
are a living example of the transformational benefits of breath work. Like,
yes,
it works. It works. It's worked for you. It's transformed your life.
it
And
has.
now you want to share it with the world. And I love that so much. I know there's a lot of moms and busy women and just busy people out there who
Yeah,
could really use this. I know for me, I heard about breath work long ago. It's one thing to read it and then, like,
totally.
that's nice. And
Yeah.
then maybe
Oh,
you
it's
hear
just
again,
breathing. Okay.
yeah, breathing, cool, that's cool, like, but if you don't really understand how
Yes.
truly transformational it can be, then you don't know. So hopefully this show will also help to shed a little bit of a light on that and help bring more joy, positivity, meditation, self-love,
Yes.
transformation,
All of
all of
it.
that. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Ali. I really, really loved having you here and having this
I love
amazing
being
conversation.
here. Thank you so much for letting me share it. And, I really hope it helps, your audience. And just know, if you are feeling, dark or alone, or you're going through something, you're not alone. And I've been there, and I know Jenna's been there in her own way. We've all been there in some way, shape, or form. And it's never too late to make a change. It's never too late to make a shift and just show up for yourself, and you deserve it. You are worth it, and you're worth that love. And so think about that if you are feeling stuck, that, hey, maybe it's just breathing that needs to bring me home.
So well said. Thank you for that. And one last thing, Ali, how can everyone find you? What is your website?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, my website's just alilevine.com, ALILEVINE.com, all social at Ali Levine Design. I'm on all the platforms. I spend most of my time on Instagram, but I am everywhere. So you can definitely connect. And if something resonates for you, please feel free to, reach out and say hello. I love to connect in my DMs and have community and help people. I'm always posting different things about breath work and just little tips and experiences, or what's going on in my family and how we're using breath work. So come say hello, come tell me. And then, of course, the app, Breathe and Be. And I'm just so excited. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here, Ali. I hope you were able to get some great takeaways from today's show. We talked about a lot of stuff, I know, but ultimately, the breath work part was what I really wanted to get deep into. But of course, it all connects, right? Meditation, dealing with grief, connecting with ourselves, self-love, it all connects. It all helps create us to be the whole person that we are. We can be whole on our own. And through all these different techniques and insights, we hopefully you're finding more resources to help you, understand how we can truly become whole on our own. If you would like to connect with Ali, I know she mentioned earlier in the show how to get in touch with her, but I'll also include links to her website and social media in the show notes. So feel free to check there if you didn't get a chance to write it down. And if you and I have not connected on social media yet, I am highly active on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, even LinkedIn. So my handle is at Jenna Banks .0. Or on LinkedIn, just type in my name, Jenna Banks. Now, if you haven't signed up for my free series called Love Notes to Myself, I would highly recommend checking those out. It is a wonderful way to bring a little dash of love into every single morning, every weekday morning. I help give you really lovely little reminders about just how to bring more love into our lives, whether it's just loving ourselves more, and in turn, we bring more love into our lives that way, which of course has a ripple effect and helps bring more love into the lives of everyone around us, or just more deeper insights into love in general. So I get deep into that in Love Notes to Myself. And I've also got my book, I Love Me More, How to Find Happiness and Success Through Self-Love, which you can also connect to via my website, which is jenna-banks.com. Thank you so much for tuning into the show today. I hope to see you again next time. And remember, your love is your power. Until next time.